this entire legislative
Sorry.
session. Sorry, Carla. We do appreciate your insight, certainly, in our partnership with BCA. And I know that there might be a lot of questions of everyone that's logged in today, so I don't want to take any more time, but I'll come back at the end and give a few quick announcements. But Clay, thank you. We'll turn it over to you.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, thanks again, Anna, and thanks everyone for this year and your participation and your time and your general interest in what's going on in the legislative session in Montgomery. We really appreciate our partnership with the chambers and want to continue that and even strengthen. So, again, just really appreciate what y'all do and on behalf of the business community in the state of Alabama. As Anna said, this is our last Capitol briefing. It's was week 12 of the legislative session. It's hard to believe it's been 12 weeks, but it has. This week was a 2-day week. Went in on Tuesday and on Wednesday. So that was day 28 and day 29. Next Wednesday will actually be the last legislative day. We're glad of that. I know our friends in the legislature are glad of that. It's almost to the person. Everyone says this has been an exhausting session. Both in the advocacy side of the House and among the legislators. So we're very, very excited. As y'all know, the Powering Growth package was a priority package for us this year. That was the 3-bill package. One of them being the setting up the Energy Infrastructure Bank. The other being the funding mechanism that will move $50 million from the 21st Century Fund to that bank, and then $10 million will go to the Economic Development Fund within Commerce to set up foreign offices for commerce, as well as help with some better marketing for the state of Alabama. Telling our story and not allowing everyone else to tell our story. We have a really good story to tell. We just have to do a better job and more intentional job of telling that story. And so we really believe strongly that those funds will have a lasting impact on economic development moving forward. And then finally, the last bill helped with streamlining the permitting process in regards to energy infrastructure. So, y'all have heard me talk a lot about, we don't want to become victims of our own success, like we, had to be sort of reactionary when it came to the SEEDS Act to make sure that we're providing funding to have enough developable sites and shovel-ready sites in the state of Alabama to be able to continue to lure more investment in our state. And energy is a big part of that as well. If we're going to be able to recruit 21st century jobs, though, they require a lot of power, and so we need to make sure that we are ahead of the game on that. And we, through this package, once again, the state of Alabama is leading on this issue, and I hope a lot of states don't catch on to what we're doing for a while, because it will give us a huge advantage on other states. That on top of what President Trump continues to talk about releasing and harnessing American energy. That is going to give us a serious advantage moving forward. So excited about that. Waiting, the governor should sign those bills next week, and and we're excited to see where those lead our state. The Alpha bill passed. The governor signed it. It still contained our language in there. You know, it's a unregulated product, meaning that they can deny pre-existing conditions. So, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, they're not able to, or well, our language made sure that they're not able to cherry pick healthy people out of employer plans, only leaving, you know, more unhealthy people. Obviously, that would cause everyone's premiums and costs to go up. And so our language stayed in there. So we should be in good shape there. The debanking bill that we opposed died in committees, both in the Senate and the House committees. There were two companion bills, a House bill and a Senate bill. Those bills didn't even get out of committee in each respective house, and we're appreciative that the members of those committees understood that wasn't a good thing. The remote workers bill passed, fixing the tax issues there, and is sent to the governor. That was by Representative Danny Garrett, that will exempt remote workers in certain circumstances from having to these are out of state workers, I should say, from having to pay state income tax in certain situations. And then another bill that I don't think I have mentioned, but I think it's kind of quietly moved through the legislative process and was passed this year, that certainly impacts the business community in a positive, very positive way, especially small businesses. Was HB 543 by Representative Brown. That is going to move the business personal property tax exemption from 40,000 up to $100,000. So that's a significant move in the right direction. We always wanted to try to get rid of that. Eventually, love to get rid of that, but it is a has an impact on the budget. So hopefully that we can continue to phase that out over time. And then the immigration bills, some of the immigration bills passed. We're very successful in getting those bills into a position that did not negatively impact the business community. All the bill sponsors were great to work with us on that. We just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a negative impact there. So. And then you know, a lot. I would say we had a good session. I think you know, obviously the PBM bill didn't go exactly our way, but certainly we were able to make it a lot better and lessen the impact than it originally set out to do. But other than that, we there's one more bill out there that we would like to see, SB 315 by Senator Singleton, that would provide another $5 million into the Economic Development Fund in Commerce. We're not sure if that one's going to make it. It's not because the bill has any opposition. I think it's purely political. We're going to continue next week to try to get that one across the finish line. I don't know that it's, you know, at least we'll have the 10 million in there, but 15 obviously would be better. We would, you know, while it's in position, would like to get it across. But other than that, we're in really good shape. You know, more than likely, you know, not positive, but I think the Senate next week. I would imagine Anna knows more than me, but there's still a lot of they still have a lot of local bills that they have to get through, as well as some confirmations that obviously are a unique responsibility of the Senate that they have to get through. So I would imagine Wednesday will be a long day, depending on if there's a filibuster or not, or if the minority party plays nice. We'll have to see, but shouldn't be any surprises for us. They should round out hopefully on a positive note, and nothing that is will negatively impact the business community. We'll get through. I kind of wanted to segue and make an introduction. Obviously, once the session is over, everyone will be talking about elections and election season, and what is next, and who's running for what, who's running for re-election, who's not. Very excited that BCA has brought on Scott McClintock, who is our political director. As y'all know, we made a big announcement at our Governmental Affairs Conference. We were launching Campaign 26, and that we would be very intentional to make sure that we will be electing pro-business candidates in open seats, defending pro-business candidates if they have, or incumbents if they have serious opposition, and potentially challenging any incumbents who do not fit the bill or are adversarial to the business community. So I want to introduce Scott, and he is going to give y'all an update on the lay of the land moving forward. So Scott.
Thanks, Clay. Nice to meet y'all. Going to tell you now, I'm not going to break any news on this call. So don't know if Tuberville's going to run for governor or senate, any of that. You can go ahead and turn off your cameras and take a nap if you need to. Thank you, Clay. Excited to be here. Excited to be working with y'all in BCA. I know y'all have heard a lot about what's going on, but I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of what's on the table that we're looking at. Because it's a big year in Alabama. So the governor, you may have heard, is term limited, will not be running for re-election. The attorney general is term limited and will not be running for re-election. The lieutenant governor is term limited and will not be running for re-election. The agriculture commissioner is term limited and will not be running for re-election. There are 7 constitutional offices. That's 4 of them that are termed out. You've got 2 other offices that are not term limited, but they're going to be vacating those offices. So the Secretary of State has announced that he's going to run for lieutenant governor. So there's a 5th one open. And then the auditor has announced that he's going to run for Secretary of State. 6. The treasurer, we have not yet heard if he's going to run for re-election or not. But so he may be the only one that stays in his chair and doesn't have to learn his way around new office next year. So out of the 7 statewide, we're looking at 6 that might have new folks in those offices. Obviously, we've got legislative elections coming up, 105 House seats, 35 Senate seats. We have 2 Supreme Court justices up, 2 criminal appeals court, 2 civil appeals court. We have 2 public service commissioner seats and 4 seats on the State Board of Education. So you've got a crowded ballot when you get to November of 2026. One thing that happened over the course of this legislative session is that the legislature moved the primary date from May 26th to May 19th. Sounds arbitrary, but that would have put the primary the Tuesday following Memorial Day. And that's just not a great way to get folks to go vote when they're sunburned and tired and trying to get settled back into the office. So move that to May 19th. And consequently, election season will start a little bit earlier. And when I say election season, that's when there's no more prohibition on raising funds, on beginning the campaign. So here in about the next 10 days, I anticipate many more announcements on folks announcing a reelection or saying, you know what, I'm going to take it to the house. I've had enough fun. I want to go play with grandbabies. So that's kind of the lay of the land. I asked Clay if I could come visit with y'all briefly just to introduce myself, but also talk a little about what BCA is going to be doing with this legislative, with all of these elections and campaigns. One of the major things that we want to do in any seats that become open is recruit pro-business candidates. Lots of times you look on, this person pops up and may run, that person pops up and may run, and you say, all right, well, they're both nice guys. I don't know if that's the pro-business guy though. So want to be engaged with y'all as these seats pop up and learn about who in your communities may be willing to take on this civic duty, civic responsibility, and try and encourage our business owners, your members, to run for office. So don't yet have a list of what those look like. I'm going to be building that out in the coming weeks, but would love to work with you there. Another piece of this puzzle I want to work on and really step up what we as BCA have been doing is more local engagement. I hope to, I know there's a lot of y'all, but I want to be more engaged with y'all, more than just this Zoom call. Maybe we have to do it by Zoom just to get you all at once. But engaged on letting you know what's going on this political world, letting your members know what's going on, and getting updates from us politically and information they can use, not just reaching out every now and then when we need something, but putting deposits in that relationship bank with y'all and your members. So hope to be more engaged with y'all on that front. BCA has made a commitment, as Clay mentioned, on campaign 2026, to be engaged in these legislative races, not just dropping off checks and taking pictures, but really helping our candidates get across the finish line, whether it's doing the polling, mail, phone calls, ads, all the stuff that drives you crazy as a voter, we'll be at the bottom of. But this is something we want to go far beyond November 2026. We want to be engaged in January 2027, March 28, February 29. Going forward, this is a commitment we've made so that when we've got a PBM issue or whatever the next headache is going to be, that we're engaged and ready, have relationships with these candidates that we've helped get across the finish line, but and recruited, but also having a relationship account with your members where they're comfortable and informed and able to say, you know what, I think I need to call Senator Smith and let him know about this. Because as y'all know, hearing from somebody that you actually know and have a relationship with goes a lot further than just a phone call from a stranger that's got the same area code. So that's kind of where we are. I didn't have anything deep. I just wanted to introduce myself, let y'all know a little bit about the long ballot that's going to be ahead of you here in about a year and a half, primary in 375 days, and let you know a little bit about where we're headed. I look forward to visiting with y'all as we learn more about open seats and where we're going to be engaged specifically. Appreciate y'all's time. Clay, I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Scott. And like I say, we're really excited to have Scott. He has a stellar resume, and he has really hit the ground running since he has been at BCA. And we're lucky to have him. The business community is lucky to have him. You don't get folks out of DC much. But now he is a Mississippi native.
I fled.
He's a Mississippi native, so he's not a swamp creature. So we're lucky to have him. So, well, do y'all have any questions for me or Scott or anything that I didn't cover and you're interested in?
Hey, Clay, this is Nan. I do have one question. And thank you so much for the update. For those of us who have chambers that don't have a government affairs or a direct economic development arm associated with it, but we're trying to grow our membership's interests and help them understand the need that even though we don't have a specific person doing it or a department, that we still want to share information. Will you be putting out some type of summary that we can pass on to our members? Because that's how I plan. I talked to some other, then that's how I plan to grow the interest in government affairs. Kind of let you be our voice to show them that we can have a voice even though we don't have a person directly doing that. So do you plan
Yes,
to put out some kind of thing that I can send out to my members?
we are. We
Okay.
are. So be on the lookout for that. As soon as session wraps, we'll have a comprehensive summary that you can share with your members. And Nan, we appreciate that. We want to be a resource, obviously, and help y'all grow that interest. I can tell you, if to Scott's point, if the business community can't generate calls and action on bills that are bad, we're going to keep losing. And so, we know everybody has a business. They're busy, right? And Lord knows there's distractions left and right in the news, and there's something coming out every hour. But to get everybody, focused when we need them to, we want to, call them to action, and, when it's absolutely necessary. We're able to, for the most part, kill bills that are bad. But there's only that occasion where there's that one bill where the other side is very, very loud. If we can't match that noise, we will lose. And that's a lot of what happened on the PBM bill. So we're very appreciative of that. Y'all are our multiplier, and folks like you. Now we appreciate the
Thank you. I'm telling
intentionality.
you, and I love for others to chime in, but one of our biggest things in our chamber is ROI, return on investment, and our members, to try to keep the churn down, our members are constantly asking us, when it's time to renew, well, what can you do to increase their return on investment? And so one of the things, because I came from a chamber that used the government affairs as one of the big ROIs. And so that's what I'm trying to change the dialogue to let them know that we are your collective voice.
Mhm.
And, because they don't see an actual person on my staff that's dedicated to government affairs, I'm having to show that ROI through working with you all. And so I'd love to hear if others are doing the same thing, because and I'm saying this is a perfect way to say this is some value in being a chamber member through the work that you all do. Are others in that same predicament? Is that how you handle it? Okay.
No, that's great. Oh, Crystal.
Yes, Clay, and along with Nan's question, we'll have a legislative update event in July, and Nan, you may even want to consider that, and that would probably be helpful as well. But Clay, if there are things that as the session is ending that do not get passed, that we need to go ahead and start nudging our local legislators on for the future session. And I know we have elections coming up, but we will have perhaps some of the same elected officials. If you can go ahead and let us know, later on, what those are, those real hot button issues that we need to go ahead and start, saying, hey, next session, we'd like to see, the business community would like to see this move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's something that come up very, very late in the session. Actually, we caught us off guard. It was very positive, and it was actually one of the grocery tax cut bills was amended to reduce the tax on machinery, which is a huge deal for manufacturing, and caught everyone completely off guard. And you know, where did this come from, et cetera. So actually, Senator Orr is who offered it, and so we had a conversation with him on Tuesday of where we love it. Where did that come from? And Arthur actually told our folks that they're interested next year in some sort of business tax cuts, and wanted to have conversations in the off season of what does that look like? What's the most optimum cuts that could have the most impact? So we're definitely going to be having those conversations, with Arthur and leadership of in the off season of what. Matter of fact, we've got some folks tasked on that right now to get that conversation going of what those look like. So that may be one of them. So as soon as we get something definitive on that, we'll certainly let y'all know.
Thanks, Clay. Obviously, in a community like ours, that's a big one. We're
Yep.
big industry, manufacturing, all the things. So yeah, thank you.
It is, and it reduced it from 2% to 1.5%. So and dropped it down a 0.5%, and the fiscal note on that was 11 million. I think that fiscal note's probably way low of what the actual impact would be, but with time we can get a better idea of what that real impact could be. And it may not be that. It may be something like reducing the corporate tax rate or something like that. Whatever the biggest impact would be for the business community. Maybe the business personal property tax, something like that impacts every business, no matter if you're manufacturing or you're a corporation or you're a mom and pop on Main Street. So we were excited to hear that, and hopefully we can get something that will be really good and take advantage of an election year. So, yeah.
Hello, Clay. I just wanted to say thank you so much for these updates during the session, and to Alabama Chambers. They've been so helpful for us, especially putting together our public policy agenda, our Montgomery trip, making sure that we understand the issues that are going on, because we can't be in Montgomery, and you have really been helpful in explaining those for us. And like Crystal said, we've got our legislative update coming up, and even what you just talked about with Arthur Orr, he's going to be there. We can talk to him about that, why that decision was made, and those conversations that are going to be coming up. So that's really important and helps us so much make that legislative update event, really strong and impactful for our members. So really thank you for everything that you're doing and helping us with.
You're welcome. Thank you, Rachel. When is y'all's update?
It is June the 3rd.
Do you mind sending me something on that?
No, not at all. I
Okay.
will.
If we can, we'll come.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you and Scott as well. Maybe there's an event that we could discuss in the future that y'all could help us with when it comes to the upcoming elections. And we've been talking about some, way to get our candidates together. So that might be helpful as well.
That'd be great. Absolutely. Absolutely. Just let us know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Rachel and Crystal, on the event that you're gonna have on June 3rd, do y'all open it up to your entire chamber to come, or do y'all have a government affairs group that y'all meet with specifically?
It's open to the entire membership. Yeah.
And then we do like a forum. We have a moderator who is chair of our public policy committee, and he's amazing. And
He's also the RAC chair for BCA, Wade Weaver.
Yes.
Yep.
And so he does a lot of our state of events, and we have our delegation there and we put together questions. We also solicit questions from our members as we send out the invites. I look at those and put together questions so we can talk for about an hour or so and try to engage our members and get them involved and make it relevant to our business community.
We, Marshall County, when I was in the Senate, all the chambers, we have, four chambers in the county, Arab, Gunner, Schwabical, Boaz, that are full-time. And then there's a sort of a part-time chamber. They would do it all at once. Usually when I first came in, it was each one we'd do an update to, and they finally pulled it all together, and all four chambers did it together, and it would bounce around the county, and it was the biggest attended, most well attended event of the year, really, of any updates that I ever did was with the chambers, and it was always very well done, and it was a great platform to get out what you needed to get out. But it's also a great way to hold them accountable too.
We're very fortunate to have an amazing Morgan County delegation that
Yep.
really is involved. When we put our public policy together and update it at the end of the year, they're always there and provide input. So Terry Collins, Parker Moore, the majority leader, I mean, they're Arthur Orr,
Yep.
they've been amazing. So
Yeah, y'all do have a good delegation.
Hey Clay, this is Allie in Opelika. We do a annual legislative agenda, and this upcoming year, we're trying to really get ahead of the schedule and do a joint one for all of Lee County. And we like to put a survey out to our members in advance. And so if I know that I think either Nan or Crystal were saying, if you can give us a heads up on any bills that are maybe that don't make it through this year, but we want to know about next year. Similar to that, if there is any specific legislation or topics that you expect to be high visibility for next session that we want to be asking our business community about their thoughts on before we build that legislative agenda, I love any feedback or recommendations that you have of
Absolutely.
what we should include in those surveys for us.
Absolutely. I love that. We'll and of course next year, just looking ahead, next year will be mom and apple pie. It's an election year, so
I'm sure they'll all appreciate that break.
yeah. Usually the third year, the quadrennium is the roughest. It really is. So no surprise that it was a rough one. But yeah, we'll definitely put that together of what we expect moving forward. I'm not sure there's going to be a whole lot. I mean, some of them, as far as what we wanted to pass that didn't. I don't know that we didn't get everything we wanted, but there could be some, obviously the ones that we had to kill. There will be some, I'm sure, reoccurs there. Well, anything else? Well, thank y'all so much, and we, again, really appreciate our partnership, and we mean that, and it takes all of us pushing. There's going to be some heavy lifts in the future. We're certain of that, and y'all will be a big player in helping us be successful on that. So. Thank y'all so much. We really appreciate you. If you need anything from us, you give us a call. We'll be there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Clay.
Thank you
Thank-
all for being a part of today. I'm sorry Paige couldn't be with us. She was traveling on the road and couldn't make it all happen at the same time, but we appreciate all of you being with us. Just a quick reminder, May 20th, there's a Talk About It Tuesday to register for. Also, the regional meeting for the Huntsville area is June 12th. So just to make sure those are on your radar, and certainly there's more information that comes out weekly and then online. So thank you all for your time today. I hope you have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. Happy belated birthday to you, Clay. And
Thank
y'all
you.
have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Where are you